ya uhuru na kiroho na uhuru wa kujieleza. Ni uamuzi wa moyo, si wa shinikizo.
Na Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam pia katika hadithi akatuambia ijtanibu sab'a muhabikat, jiepusheni na mambo saba zenye kuangamiza watu. Na miongoni mwa hizo mambo saba akataja Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam kuwa ni ashirku billah, ni mtu kumshirikisha Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Hiyo basi njia rahisi ya wewe kujikinga kutokana na shida na dhiki na balaa ni kusoma suratul Falaq, suratul Nas na suratul Ikhlas. Sura hizi zitakukinga wewe mtazamaji wetu kutokana na shida ambazo zitakukumba katika maisha yako. Pepo ya dunia, pepo ya dunia.
I have two talents. One of them is dancing and the other one is acting. Dancing makes me feel like I'm flying.
And today's book is The Wolf and the Seven Little Kids.
My name is Abigail Kuleche, and today I'll be making an Italian dish, lasagna. Today I'll be making the beef version.
For Father's Day, we're going to make a card.
Today we'll be talking about overcoming temptation, living in a world of sin. There are many challenges, temptations that come our way.
God anakupenda tu venye uko, just the way you are. So you don't need to do anything for God to love you more, and you don't need to do anything less for God to love you less.
If you are in Christ, you can be in the world, but whatever is in the world will not get into you.
Nineteen nations will compete in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania 2024, which will be staged from 2nd to 30th August 2025. Amongst the 4 groups in the tournament A to D, Kenya is pooled in Group A, together with Morocco, Angola, DR Congo, and Zambia.
Algeria from the set piece, the header is on target, but it's...
This unique competition featuring the best locally based players from across the continent definitely has something for everyone. Just bring your A game as you let it flow live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
We asked the children, how many of you brushed this morning? And this little boy, his hand didn't go up. And I said, well, why didn't you brush this morning? He said, my brother was using the toothbrush. If I'd waited for him, I would have been late for school. I'm sorry, I get a bit emotional when it comes to that. To be able to change a child's life, to be able to bring back that confidence about their smile, for me, is phenomenal.
As a Kenyan, are you aware of your rights as enshrined in Article 49 of the Constitution in the event of an arrest? Tonight, we have a detailed story that well outlines your rights as a Kenyan in the event of an arrest. That and plenty more, including business and sports, is shaping the news tonight. This is Prime Edition. Top on this live broadcast. DCI director says Central Police Station OCS Samson Talam should be treated as the main suspect in the killing of blogger Albert Ojwang. President Ruto directs a watertight investigations into the killing of blogger Albert Ojwang while in police custody. Opposition leaders call for the resignation and arrest of Police Deputy Inspector General Eliud Lagat within 24 hours over Ojwang's murder. And anti-graft agency EACC rains on rogue public servants with fake academic credentials. Thank you for choosing KBC Channel 1 to inform you tonight. This is Prime Edition. I'm Doreen Arange and Wangeshi is our sign language interpreter. President William Ruto has called for accountability within the police ranks in the wake of the brutal killing of Albert Ojwang while in police custody. Speaking at a meeting with Nakuru County leaders at State House, Nairobi, Ruto warned no one, whether in uniform or civilian clothing, will be spared if found responsible for criminal activity. The president demanded swift action from the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, as the nation reels from another tragic case that has sparked conversation over police conduct in handling arrests of individuals.
President William Ruto has sent a stern warning to rogue police officers, insisting that the badge is not a shield for criminal behavior.
We cannot accept kwamba kuna uhalifu inaendelea na saa zingine hata officers wetu wengine wanahusika. And that is why we say, tunasema, whether criminals are in civilian or they are in uniform, we must deal with them firmly and decisively, and the law must apply to each and every person.
His remarks come in the wake of the killing of Albert Ojwang by police officers in a case that has shaken public trust in law enforcement.
The Independent Police Oversight Authority must make sure that officers in uniform who engage in criminal activity instead of protecting citizens must be brought to book, held to account decisively, efficiently, so that we can restore the confidence of citizens in our security apparatus.
Addressing Nakuru County leaders at State House, Ruto reaffirmed that national security is a fundamental right, not a privilege. He emphasized that safety of lives, businesses and property must be safeguarded at all costs and that the government bears full responsibility.
The National Police Service, an independent institution, must discharge its responsibility independently, fairly, decisively, and also with results.
With tensions rising and public confidence in law enforcement under pressure, the president called for coordinated efforts between government administrators and independent agencies like IPOA to clean up ranks, stressing results over rhetoric.
Despite the fact that it is an independent entity, is working with us to make sure that we create the necessary synergy between the provincial, the national government administration officers and our security teams, ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba kuna usalama.
Ruto also called for firm action against criminal gangs, stressing a zero-tolerance approach to insecurity, regardless of whether offenders are in civilian clothing or uniform.
I have informed and given instructions to the Ministry of Interior to work with the National Police Service and to make sure that the county security team ya Nakuru is up to date. Na kama kuna upungufu wowote watujulishe so that we make the necessary corrections.
Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Pressure continues to mount for the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Eliud Langat, to resign following the killing of social media influencer Albert Omondi Ojwang. The opposition, led by Democratic Party's leader Justin Muturi, says Langat must resign within 24 hours to pave way for thorough and independent probe into the killing of Albert Ojwang. The opposition leaders have also challenged the Central Police Station to avail the CCTV footage showing Ojwang being brought in and being taken out of the Central Police Station.
Following the autopsy report on the death of Albert Ojwang that has now revealed that Albert Omondi Ojwang was killed while in police custody, opposition leaders now want the name of the person who ordered his transportation from Awego Police Station in Homa Bay County to Central Police Station in Nairobi made public.
We demand to know why Albert was moved from Awego Police Station, Homa Bay, to Nairobi, and specifically Central Police Station, and which officers accompanied him by name and rank.
Additionally, they are demanding the Central Police Station avails CCTV footage showing the 31-year-old Ojwang being brought in and taken out of the Central Police Station to Mbagathi Hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
Central Police Station, Nairobi area, has CCTV coverage. Number 3, we demand to know where the footage showing Albert being brought in and leaving the station is, and whether it's been provided to the family lawyers. If there's no footage, we demand to know who ordered for the cameras to be switched off.
Following the revelation that Albert was healthy and had no physical injuries prior to his arrest, they want answers on who inflicted the grievous and extensive injuries on his body.
When Albert was picked up in Homa Bay, he had no physical injuries. Indeed, he was having lunch with his wife. We demand to know who inflicted the grievous and extensive injuries on his body.
To pave way for thorough and independent probe, the opposition, led by Democratic Party's leader Justin Muturi, have now called for the resignation and the arrest of Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Langat within 24 hours.
We are calling not just for the resignation, but for the arrest and arraignment in court of the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Eliud Langat, within 24 hours from the issuance of this statement.
They have also called for state witness protection of junior officers involved in the arrest.
We similarly demand that the junior officers currently being persecuted be given witness protection with immediate effect. Their lives, obviously, are in danger because they know the truth.
During Ojwang's death interrogation at the Senate, IPOA revealed that the CCTV footage at the Central Police Station was tampered with.
It's been reported that Albert was in solitary confinement at Central Police Station. Why was Albert considered a high-risk criminal to be confined in solitary? If he was not in solitary confinement, as alleged, who are his cellmates and how many were they?
John Kahiro, Prime Edition.
The shocking killing of social media influencer Albert Ojwang within 48 hours of his arrest in the hands of police officers has sparked public outrage amid queries of the rights of arrested persons. Tonight, our reporter Kasichana Masha had a sit-down with an advocate of the High Court to unpack the rights of arrested persons as enshrined in the Constitution. Watch.
The arrest of Albert Ojwang in Homa Bay County and his subsequent death in the hands of police officers at Central Police Station has triggered a series of questions as to the circumstances surrounding his death. Of concern is the gross human rights violation he was subjected to, that is detailed in an autopsy report by the government pathologist that revealed he was tortured and strangled to death.
There were also multiple soft tissue injuries that were spread all over the body, including the head also, the neck, upper limbs, and the trunk.
This begs the question, what are the rights of an arrested person as per the Constitution? Chantia Eboyele, criminal and criminal procedures advocate of the High Court, shed light on what law enforcement officers are mandated to do when making an arrest.
Number one, it is important for the police officer to be able to identify themselves. And at some instances, the police officer does not have a uniform, so it is important for them to identify themselves. Number two, they should be able to tell you adequately why they are arresting you, the reason for the arrest. You know, someone can just pick you up from the streets and just tell you, this is why we are arresting you. And then after arresting you, they'll be able now to book you. There's an OB where you're booked at the police station. Then now you are put into the cell.
Further, Chatia says the law provides for an arrested person to be aware of their right to remain silent, right to seek legal aid, and even know which police station he or she is being taken to. Additionally, one should not resist arrest as it could prompt an officer to use force.
Because at the end of the day, we have to remember that also police officers operate from a law in itself. Sometimes we have gotten to a point whereby because of all the atrocities that police officers have committed against us, we get to a point that we want to resist, but resisting arrest is also unlawful.
He says after an arrest, a suspect is expected to be charged in court within the jurisdiction the crime was committed and presented in court within 24 hours of arrest.
For instance, if I can give case example, being that the case that is going on in the country as we speak, this gentleman was taken all the way from Homa Bay to Nairobi, which for us is extremely absurd because at the end of the day, if he was arrested in Homa Bay, he would just have been arraigned in court in Homa Bay, or rather even arrested or put in cell in Homa Bay. If you are arrested over the weekend, then 24 hours may elapse, but then the following Monday you should be arraigned in court.
Chatia has also urged Kenyans to utilize the services of pro bono lawyers in case they can't afford a lawyer to ensure they're well represented. Kasichana Masha, Prime Edition.
Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says the level of land grabbing in the country has hit another level, with grabbers now bold enough to target public schools and even police stations. Speaking after issuing a title deed to Lavington Primary School in Nairobi for land that has been grabbed by private developers, Wahome said she will leave no stone unturned in ensuring all the cartels involved in grabbing are dealt with accordingly.
On Wednesday, Lands and Public Works Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome was in Lavington Primary School to issue title deed to the school.
And this now is the title.
The CS reading a riot act to land grabbers in the country, saying her ministry will not tolerate the vice.
The long arm of the law will reach you. People will recover their property because we cannot allow 2.15 acres in Lavington in the hands of one person. I'm sure you also know the value of land in Lavington.
She said it's unfortunate to see the grabbers extending their greed to schools, police stations and courts, saying their evil plans will not succeed.
There is no other existing title with any validity. Sasa wakitaka wale wanamsumbua waende mahakama, wasistaki shule, wasitaki waziri wa ardhi, waambie from today shamba ni ya shule ya Lavington.
We are very happy that we now have a document that will help us safeguard government property. There before, it would be a bit difficult because when you come in, you would be told the school does not have a title deed and therefore the boundaries are not defined.
Lavington Primary School had been battling a court case with grabbers for 15 years over a 20.9 acre piece of land curtailing further development of the school.
And they're not after schools in the pockets of poverty. They're interested in schools that are in prime areas.
Today you have not just brought us a document. You have brought us security. You have brought us legitimacy. And you have brought us a renewed hope for the future.
Private land is also under the same attack by the cartels. In my view, I may not be the one prosecuting them, but owners of such land are getting good support from the DCI, and we are in agreement with the DCI, Director of Criminal Investigations, to expedite those cases.
Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, due for our first break. Plenty more on the other side, including business and sports. Stay with us.
This Father's Day, tell us why your dad is your hero. Is it his strength, his kindness, or his bad dad jokes? Post a 1-minute video sharing what makes your dad unforgettable, and you could win a one-night staycation at one of these hotels: the Fairview Hotel Nairobi, the Best Western Hotel Upper Hill, or the Holiday Inn Nairobi. Simply tag your 1-minute clip at Y254 on X, Facebook, and Instagram for your chance to win. Choose one of these hotels to also tag in your post, and you could spoil your dad for a night at Holiday Inn Nairobi, at Fairview Hotel Nairobi, and at Best Western Upper Hill. Don't forget to use the hashtag MyKBCDad. Let's celebrate our heroes in style.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about The Viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape
your day.
Good Morning Kenya, every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. You're still on Prime Edition. Let's continue to inform you. Now, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations has thrown interdicted Central Police Station officer commanding station Samson Talam under the bus, saying he should be treated as the prime suspect in the killing of blogger Albert Ojwang. Appearing before the Senate DCI boss Mohamed Amin, accompanied by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja distanced his officers who picked Ojwang from Homa Bay from any culpability in his death. This as IPOA revealed the CCTV camera at the Central Police Station had been tampered with and attempts to retrieve the footage were ongoing.
On Wednesday morning, the Senate suspended its business to probe the circumstances behind the death of Albert Ojwang, who died in police custody. Senators had summoned top security bosses, among them CS Interior Kipchumba Murkomen, DCI boss Mohamed Amin, Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, and the National Police Service Commission chair to shed light on the matter. The summons came as pressure mounts on the security apparatus to take responsibility for his death. The security bosses took oath of office, and first to give statement was Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, who condemned the killing and called for those behind the killing to take responsibility.
We are not coming here to give excuses that it is in the absence of a policy direction from the ministry. No, Mr. Speaker, it is just blatant disregard. If you see how that gentleman was beaten, Mr. Speaker, the person who did it is an animal. And it calls upon all of us to say that that person must face justice, and it at the shortest time possible, Mr. Speaker.
It is at this forum that the DCI distanced his officers from the culpability and instead shifted the blame to officers at the Central Police Station. DCI Director Mohammed Amin and Police IG Douglas Kanja gave an account of what transpired, leading to the death of Ojwang.
He was booked at Central Police Station at 21:32. At 21:24, the deceased was given an opportunity while at Central Police Station to talk to his wife. One Nefnin Apondi.
Those who were involved in this action, Mr. Speaker, will be punished severely so that it becomes an example that, Mr. Speaker, such an act should not happen within a police custody.
The Vice Chairperson of IPOA would reveal that CCTV footage at Central Police Station was missing, and efforts were ongoing to retrieve the footage.
The forensic expert and the investigating officer noted when they got into Central Police was that the power was not connected to the power cable of the CCTV was not connected to the socket. But on connecting it, the CCTV came back. But on trying to review the previous day's events, there was nothing. So it is very clear that the CCTV was tampered with.
They further said they were probing claims by police that the deceased had made a phone call to his wife prior to his death. IPOA also asked the legislators to amend the law to have powers to arrest rogue officers, with senators pressing for details of the whereabouts of officers who ferried Albert from Homa Bay.
This murder happened in the cells. And so, Mr. Speaker, the IG must tell us why Ojwang was held all alone in a cell. Because had he been held with other cellmates, then of course we would be able to get information from the other cellmates that they would have been with.
That the OCS Central Police Station confirmed that Albert was in good physical health at the time of being booked in the police cell. For us, if that question is answered, IG, then it will lead to a lot of other conclusions. Was this man okay when he was being booked?
Senators, in probing the security bosses, called for the stepping aside of Deputy IG, with some calling for the resignation of some of the top security chiefs. The Independent Police Oversight Authority, IPOA, is expected to conclude its investigations as public outrage persists, with calls for justice. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, has arrested 5 individuals in separate incidents as part of an ongoing crackdown on rogue public servants using forged academic documents. Following the arrest, the Commission seeks to initiate criminal proceedings and recovery of all salaries, allowances, and benefits fraudulently acquired by the suspects so far. The suspects will be presented in court on Thursday, 12th June.
The suspects, who are former employees of various public institutions, are accused of using falsified academic qualification to secure employment and promotions, resulting in fraudulent acquisition of public funds amounting to tens of millions of shillings. The arrest came after the Commission received complaints from members of the public and various public institutions.
The issue of fake academic certificates is prevalent, and in the last 3 years, EACC has received over 550 reports of forged academic and professional certificates. We have so far investigated and completed 134 cases, out of which 85 have been forwarded to the DPP and 33 are pending in court.
The 5 include Priska Ososi, an assistant election officer at KBC, Vincent Tom Kemoli, an assistant at NSDCC, formerly the National AIDS Control Council, Margaret Wanja Mudhui, a former Deputy Director of Supply Chain Management at Kera. Elijah Mudhoga Kirethi, a former driver at KMTC. And Kelly Gishuri Moirori, a driver at the Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company.
We are now working much closely with all stakeholders within the education sector, and it will be much easier as a matter of time for us to be able to verify, and this will enhance our ability to ensure that the services or the issue of academic certificates is dealt with more effectively. Therefore, this is a big warning for those who are intending to do so.
The Director of Public Prosecutions has already approved charges against the suspects, who will now be presented in court for plea taking and full hearing of the criminal suits. Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
And our calls for parents and caregivers to prioritize therapeutic care for children with disabilities have intensified in a bid to enhance early detection and correction of any deformity. Stakeholders attending the International Day of Play for Children in Dagoretti, Nairobi County, emphasized calls for awareness on the benefits of therapy, even as they commended the government on the recently passed bill on persons with disabilities, saying it will ensure access to support services and medical attention for the disabled.
We encourage parents to bring out these children, and not just that, we also demonstrate that children with disabilities have capacities like any other children. They can play, they can be engaged, because play is therapy. Play is a very key pillar for the development of any child, and it is even more important for a child with a disability.
You have the Disability Act, which is talking about empowering either the caregivers, giving something to make them survive these situations, and then those who will be registered with the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. It's that aspect of where there will be the therapy services can be funded by the National Council.
Don't hide your child, hata kama hatembei, akai. There are so many different children over here with different disability. So toa mtoto nje, mpeleke therapy, afanyiwe massage, itamsaidia sana.
On our weekly feature, Cinemas and Theatre tonight, we center our focus on the film Urefu wa Kamba that featured at the 78th Cannes Film Festival in May 2025 and at the Pavilion Afriques program in France as an independently produced Kenyan short film. The film explores the emotional turbulence amongst three sisters, one whom is deaf, as they navigate unspoken pain, resentment, and silence.
The short film Urefu wa Kamba, Kiswahili for Length of a Rope, set in the emotional aftermath of a house fire, follows three sisters, one of whom is deaf, as they navigate the suffocating weight of silence, resentment, and buried truths. The 16 minutes film uses sparse dialogue, physical distance, and unspoken pain to unravel the complex bonds that tie us to family. Kevin Oso, the film producer, notes that Urefu wa Kamba was shot in one day, adding that the team remained committed till the end of production.
We had like an intense, I think 3 months of pre-production. That was really intense, given that the cast didn't even know how to speak in sign language, and we had to get a sign language interpreter to interpret the script into sign language. So there was thorough training. The director was locked in with the actors. When it came to production itself, we shot it over 12 hours. I know this is always shocking, simply because we knew exactly what we were going for. And one thing that I'm really grateful about is how the director and the director of photography, Danny Skelton, came together to create a vision of what shots they were going for, and why they were going for those shots.
Urefu Wakamba recently made as the first independently produced Kenyan short film to screen at the 78th Cannes Film Festival under the Pavilion Afriques program.
It's my first time in Cannes, and I can't believe that I spoke this into existence. It was just a very eye-opening experience and also a motivating time because I saw that African filmmakers have a say. We have a place in international markets.
Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
A family from Indangalasia, Mumias East constituency in Kakamega County, is mourning the death of 3 family members who drowned in an open quarry after a sand mine they were digging. This and other stories in the county's news roundup.
The trio Emily Mukoya and her brother-in-law Michael Ambitisi drowned while trying to rescue her daughter. The residents are now calling for government intervention to fill the quarries left open during the mining.
Mtoto wa Mukoya alikuwa ameanguka kwa maji, mama yake alienda amuokoe na mama yake pia akaanguka kwa maji. Mike bila alikuwa anachunga huko ng'ombe. Pia yeye anaenda ataokoe semeji wake na yeye pia akaanguka kwa maji akaka.
In Nyandarua County, tension ran high in Somak area of Nyakio Ward, Kinangop, after residents stormed Rwanyambo police post demanding justice for a middle-aged pregnant woman who reportedly suffered a miscarriage while in custody.
Mwanamke alishikwa jana akajifungua mtoto kako kwa sel. Huyo mwanamke alituambia alikuwa anaitana ili afunguliwe. Mbali wa kumfungulia akajifungua peke yake na mtoto akafariki.
An Homa Bay County Assembly erupted in chaos after the members of the County Assembly attempted to petition the removal of the majority leader, Richard Ogindo, from office. The conflict escalated after a group of the members of the County Assembly pushing for Ogindo's removal were denied entry into the County Assembly.
What we are hearing is just rumors from the social media, and none of the members have ever come to my office with any petition that they have gathered enough signatures to remove the majority. So we will treat it as such, as rumors as it is, with no any other substance.
In Isiolo County, Sericho member of County Assembly Abubakar Godana has tabled an impeachment motion against Isiolo Governor Abdi Ibrahim Goyer at the County Assembly, a motion supported by 17 MCAs out of 18. Governor Goyer is accused of abuse of office, gross misconduct, among other accusations. Finally, in Siaya County, farmers have been urged to address soil health if they are to get better yields. The call was made by agricultural stakeholders during Agricultural Field Day held at the Avepo Smart Farm, Mbaga, in the outskirts of Siaya town.
The first aspect of increasing productivity is that we have to address our soil health. Because if our soils have problems, like our soils currently in Siaya have problems, our soils in Ugenya, our soils in Alego, our soils in Game, our soils in Ugunja are getting acidic. What it means that if we are not able to address the acidity of the soils, we may not get the produce that we desire.
Aaron Marie, Prime Edition.
Many workers access their retirement benefits when switching jobs, unaware of the impact it has on their future. Taking out your retirement savings too soon reduces the income you will have when you retire, leaving your future less secure. Have you thought about the lifestyle or income you want to retire with? The earlier you start saving, the better. And the more you save, the more secure your future will be. Increase your savings today and live your golden years the way you've always dreamed. For more information, visit our website www.rba.go.ke, call our toll-free line 0800-720-300 or email info@rba.go.ke. Secure your future. Secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Dear God, please protect Sunu.
How did he even get out of your sight? What were you doing with her? Are you trying to make a child your accomplice? Wait.
Grandpa,
I don't want to ever see you with that letter again.
I just needed some air, that's it.
You should have said that.
Y'all don't care about me.
No matter how much you try to destroy my dad's name, I will be here to protect it.
JJ is finished.
How can you guard something that's already destroyed?
No, over my dead body, no.
Thank you for staying with Prime Edition. It's time for business news. My name is Betty Kiptum. The central bank is urging banks to lower their lending rates in line with the revised base rate. CBK Governor Kamau Thuge says commercial lending rates remain high despite the regulator easing benchmark rate by more than 150 basis points in the last 6 months.
The cost of credit has dropped to a two-year low from 17.2% in November 2024 to 15.4% in May 2025. But despite this, some banks are yet to lower rates for customers.
Really, as you know, this has been one of our concerns. We, as a central bank, have eased monetary policy quite significantly in the last few months. Starting with August, I think now we have lowered the central bank rate by 325 basis points.
CBK Governor Dr. Kamau Thuge says the revised new risk-based pricing model will help address this by making rate adjustments more responsive and fair to borrowers.
There seems to be more of a lag in the reduction of rates than in the increase of rates. And it is my expectation that once we have this new framework of risk-based pricing of lending rates, that the transmission both ways, increase and decrease, will be much more efficient and with reductions taking place sooner.
He also revealed that the central bank has revised Kenya's 2025 economic growth projections from 5.4% to 5.2%, citing higher global trade tariffs and a possible slowdown in the US and UK economies.
From those sources, we get most of our remittances from the US. At least 55% come from the US, and therefore any slowdown in the US economy could likely have a negative impact on the remittances.
The governor added that the International Monetary Fund IMF mission is expected in the country this September as Kenya seeks a new funding agreement. Wairi Mujenga for Prime Edition.
Now, tomorrow, on the 12th of June 2025, all 8 members of the East African Community are expected to outline their expenditure plans for the fiscal year 2025-2026. However, only Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania and Rwanda are ready to table their financial estimates. DR Congo, that's DRC, Somalia, Burundi and South Sudan are in the process of aligning their budget plans with the EAC protocols. Alan Auko looks at the finer details of the EAC budget plans.
In the upcoming 2025-2026 fiscal year, Kenya is expected to spend approximately 4.2 trillion shillings, which is almost the combined budgets of Tanzania, Uganda and Rwanda. Kenya will use the budget to invest in key sectors like health, roads, agriculture and security. In Tanzania, the parliament has approved a budget of 2.8 trillion Kenyan shillings for the 2025-2026 fiscal financial year. This is a 13.4% increase from the previous year's allocation. The budget includes a planned increase in defense spending and prioritizes both elections and the African Cup of Nations. It also aims to modernize the Tanzania People's Defense Forces and improve conditions for personnel. The budget is expected to be funded through a combination of domestic revenue and external loans. According to the budgetary estimate tabled by the Ministry of Finance in Tanzania, 69.7% of the budget will be sourced from domestic revenue, while 30.3% will be acquired through domestic and external loans. In Uganda, the government plans to spend 2.5 trillion shillings in the upcoming 2025-2026 financial year. Kampala says it will spend the budget to bolster tourism, expand petroleum infrastructure, and build more schools and upgrade its security system. In Rwanda, the government has outlined an expenditure plan of 624 billion shillings, which will go towards funding the construction of the new Kigali International Airport and the expansion of the national carrier Rwandair. Other priorities include industrialization, agriculture, expanding electricity, and modernizing education and transport infrastructure.
Still on budget matters, Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has cited a lack of continuity in budgeting for critical areas that are directly affecting Kenyans. He said that there is need to incentivize private enterprises for the economy to thrive. Nyoro added that Kenya is in debt distress, hence the need to rethink the country's expenditure.
There should be sincerity in wanting growth in our economy. Growth in an economy happens if you incentivize private enterprise to thrive. Critical areas that touch on the people, they do not consume as much money. So it's always easy to afford. Take, for example, a budget of 4.2 trillion. The continuity that I don't see is that I would have wished that education sector is well endowed in terms of allocations. We need to look at our expenditure. We are very good in starting projects. Out of the many that start, up to what level are they?
The Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, that is COMESA, is calling for the speedy harmonization of compensation levels among member states to increase efficiency of the yellow card scheme that allows third-party motorists to travel across over 13 COMESA countries with a single insurance policy. Kenya Reinsurance Corporation has rolled out a USSD app to allow law enforcement officers and border authorities in real time to verify the validity of yellow cards.
Under the COMESA Yellow Card, motorists travel across over 13 countries within the bloc with a single insurance policy covering third-party liabilities including injury, death and property damage caused by the insured vehicle.
The net worth of the scheme could be around 24 million. So there's no doubt that the Yellow Card scheme is a proven concept. It's financially sound.
Kenya reports that over 300,844 yellow cards were issued in 2022-2023 period alone, generating premiums totaling 2.23 billion shillings.
Of course, we definitely now expect our revenue targets to grow upwards by more than 10% from these efforts.
To further drive this uptake, Kenya Re is banking on technology integration with the launch of the new USD application dubbed COMESA Yellow Card app. Through the app, users can access insurance information, reducing delays and lending greater confidence in the legitimacy of yellow card documents on the spot.
We are committed, and what we urge is also support from you to ensure that law enforcers are fully trained on the use of this new technology.
Minor says this will support regional expansion for Kenyan underwriters as well as curb insurance fraud.
We also encourage the CEO here to really work closely with Kenya Re because of the countries we are talking about mentioning. Kenya Re has presence in all these countries.
Stakeholders are further rooting for harmonization of traffic laws and claim settlement standards in the region, as well as adherence to minimum underwriting standards.
Because right now, what is causing all this quantum is because there's no harmonization in terms of the compensation levels. And once we hit that mark of harmonization, we should be able to avert some of the challenges that we are currently facing.
Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
To agriculture matters now, the government will roll out a traceability system next month as part of efforts to strengthen the livestock value chain. Livestock Principal Secretary Jonathan Mweke says traceability is one of the key requirements for niche livestock markets that Kenya is targeting to expand its presence in.
Kenya exported 9,000 tons of hides and skins in 2024, valued at 482 million shillings. The government has prioritized increasing Kenya's share in the global meat and livestock product markets under its 10-year strategy. To enhance access to international markets, the government will launch the traceability system next month.
There's a huge market opening up for us in Middle East for Kenyan livestock. They want our lamb, beef, sheep, but we're not able to fully tell them where it's coming from, so we're fully supporting the new Minister of Livestock's ID program.
We are piloting it in government farms before we roll it out to our farmers. That will ensure that we meet the quality and traceability that is demanded by especially the export market.
Additionally, the government is keen on integrating technology into livestock production to enable real-time targeted interventions, especially for smallholder livestock keepers.
The only way for us to be able to optimize and supply to the market what the market is demanding is by using innovation, doing a lot of research and development, and also by deploying technology.
Technology is also expected to streamline market linkages and provide better access to markets for farmers.
We must focus on tools that are affordable, that are accessible, and that are adapted to local contexts. We must bridge the digital divide.
We're encouraging youngsters. Don't look at farming only in the shamba. Look at value chain, look at the finance, look at the marketing of agriculture, look for export markets. And these are where the youngsters are very clever in tech. So there's a lot of room for youngsters.
We are bringing the technology which can be used and implemented by these farmers in their farmland for better production and less wastage. So we are doing our job to bring those technology, innovation, and the companies who is producing this technology and supplying to Kenyan market.
Trevor Ngindo for Prime Edition.
And that brings business news this evening to a close. Sports news is coming up with Bernard Okumu. My name is Betty Kiptum. Good night.
The men and women in boots. They are commanded to defend and protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic of Kenya. Their bravery knows no limits.
Make a man go through the wall without breaking the wall.
Laziness. It is not in our vocabulary.
But what are their stories, their tales? Military Tales, every Saturday at 9 p.m. with Ben Troy Joe. "19 nations will compete in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania 2024, which will be staged from 2nd to 30th August 2025. Amongst the 4 groups in the tournament A to D, Kenya is pooled in Group A, together with Morocco, Angola, DR Congo, and Zambia.
Algeria from the set piece, the header is on target, but it's saved.
This unique competition featuring the best locally based players from across the continent definitely has something for everyone. Just bring your A game as you let it flow live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Great to have you on board. It is time for the latest from the sports world with me, Bernardo Kumu. And we begin with soccer, where the national soccer team, Harambee Stars, recorded their first win under head coach Benny McCarthy when they beat Chad 2-1 in their second international friendly match played yesterday in Marrakesh, Morocco. Stars are preparing for their debut in the 2024 African Nations Championship, which will be co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania.
Harambee Stars goals were netted by debutants Emmanuel Osoro and David Sakwa, who rose to the occasion before the break. Osoro went into the score sheet first in the 18th minute before Sakwa made it 2-0 after 26 minutes. Mahamat Ali scored the consolation for Chad before the final whistle.
Now we just have to kick on a little bit. When you play the way that we did and you create the chances and you take them, then you'll see how easy it becomes.
Nimepata bao, nimepiga assist. Ni feeling poa sana. Ndio kitu nimeshikutamani na imehappen, na at least naona nimeanza na mwanzo poa.
Meanwhile, the Lions of Teranga of Senegal became the first African team to beat England when they mauled the Three Lions 3-1 in another international friendly at the City grounds.
And Ismail Assar is arriving, and he's beaten Carl Walker to it, and Senegal are level. Lifts the ball inside the City ground. Set piece, just look at him, he just wanders into this. He's got Njai over on the far side, and joining is Tabali, and England have beaten.
Elsewhere, the national rugby women's team, Kenya Lionesses, suffered a narrow 19-12 loss to South Africa in their second Rugby Africa Women's Cup match played today in Antananarivo, Madagascar. South Africa dominated the first half and were leading 12-0 at halftime before coming back again stronger in the second half to lead the game 19-0. Lionesses struggled but managed to reduce the deficit with two tries courtesy of Frecia Wino and Nolene Halei, with the first try converted by Sinaida Mokaya. The 19-12 loss comes on the back of Lionesses' impressive display against host Madagascar, whom they beat 28-5 in their opening match. They will next play Uganda in their third match on Saturday. And three-time London Marathon champion Joycelyn Jepkosgei has sent a strong message to her competitors with a commanding victory in the women's 5,000 meters race during the Kenya Defence Forces Athletics Championship, where she declared her readiness for the upcoming national trials for the World Athletics Championships. Jepkosgei stormed to victory with an impressive time of 15 minutes 23.6 seconds. Frederick Mwoki has the details.
The Kenya Defence Forces Athletics Championship commenced on Wednesday morning at the Ulinzi Sports Complex, bringing together athletes from 17 teams. Three times London Marathon champion Joycelyn Jepkosgei continued her run of brilliance to emerge victorious in the women's 5,000 meters, where she timed 15 minutes 23.6 seconds, followed by Disila Jerono in 15 minutes 28.8 seconds. Esther Jemutai finished third in 15 minutes 36.1 seconds.
I'm so grateful for today's performance. I had prepared well about this race. Yeah, to defend my team, which is Modiga. Yeah.
In the men's 10,000 meters, Chemususu half marathon champion Wesley Yego produced a dazzling performance, clocking 28 minutes 37.53 seconds to finish first as Ronsa Konga and Charles Katul battled for the remaining podium positions.
Target yangu ni kuingia World Championship na naomba Mungu anipe afya mzuri, ni train vizuri na niweke Mungu mbele.
Meanwhile, the national 400 meters hurdles champion and winner of the 2025 Cape Keno Classic Tour, Wiseman Were, qualified for the finals of that race and said that he will be all out to defend his title during the upcoming national trials slated for August.
Most areas we are working on at the moment, because just about technique, because the speed we have
So we need just to get the right time at the World Championship, because I believe with that combination, we'll get it home.
A high level of competition is expected during the national trial slated for this August, as top teams from Kenya Prisons, Kenya Police, and the Kenya Defense Forces battle to be selected in the Kenyan squad that represent the country in this year's World Championship in Tokyo, Japan. Reporting for Prime Edition Sports from Molinsi Complex in Nairobi, my name is Frederick Mwoti.
And the national women's soccer team Harambee Starlets leave tonight for Dar es Salaam, Tanzania to begin their quest for the Confederation of East and Central Africa Football Association CECAFA senior women's title against Burundi on Saturday. Head coach Beldino Demba, who retains her place as the head tactician, has named a 23-member squad that includes two debutants, Vihiga Queens Swawum Nanjaka and Kibera Soccer Women's Medina Abubakar Hussein. Kenya will use the championship that will also feature Tanzania, Uganda, South Sudan and Burundi to prepare for the forthcoming 2026 Africa Women's Cup of Nations qualifier against Gambia in October. Kenya is bidding to qualify for its second Women's Africa Cup of Nations finals since making its debut at the 2016 edition.
Mendia CECAFA tuna hope that inatusaidia kwa upcoming AFCON ya Gambia. Na imani tukienda na ile nguvu tutakuwa very ready kwa ile tournament ya AFCON.
Hii tournament ya CECAFA itatusaidia sana kama players ku build team as we go to CECAFA ku prepare ile qualifiers za AFCON.
And we wish Starlets all the best in Dar es Salaam as they begin their quest for the 2025 CECAFA Women's Cup title. Elsewhere, the Executive Board of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOC, has reaffirmed its commitment to a smooth transition ahead of the upcoming election set for June 19th. The board convened today in Nairobi to finalize preparations for the Electoral Congress, with just 1 week remaining before the highly anticipated NOC elections. The meeting, which was chaired by NOC President and IOC member Paul Tergat, was attended by key officials and stakeholders and was aimed at ensuring a focused and a seamless leadership transition to safeguard the continuity of NOC programs and protect the interests of athletes across the country. Tergat emphasized the importance of institutional stability and continuity, noting that the outgoing leadership remains dedicated to ensuring that the incoming team takes over a solid foundation built on transparency, accountability and service to athletes. The upcoming elections are set to mark a historic moment for NOC as Tergat prepares to hand over the leadership after completing his two-term limit with two candidates, the outgoing First Vice President Shadrack Maluki and outgoing Secretary General Francis Mutuku contesting the chairman's position. The National Olympic Committee of Kenya elections failed to take place on the 24th of April following an impasse involving 4 federations, but they were allowed to proceed following a High Court ruling that lifted orders barring the IBC from excluding those 4 federations from the elections. And to golf now, where more than 110 top amateur golfers from Kisumu and surrounding clubs are expected to compete in this weekend's 12th leg of the KCB East Africa Golf Tour at the Nyanza Golf Club. Joseph Atito, Nishal Shah, David Omolo, Dr. Rosemary Obara and junior golfer Tony Nyambogo headline the list of players expected in the event, which is pivotal in fostering golfing culture within the East Africa region. The series has already traversed 6 counties in Kenya: Kiambu, Kericho, Nandi, Nairobi, Mombasa and Nanyuki, and impacted over 1,500 participants and over 1,000 junior golfers through the golf clinics that are held concurrently with the events. And across the borders now, where Brazil and Ecuador have qualified for the 2026 FIFA World Cup after today's South American qualifying matches. Vinicius Junior's lone goal was enough to give Brazil the ticket as they beat Paraguay 1-0 to give Carlo Ancelotti his first win as head coach of Brazil. Ecuador also booked their ticket after a barren draw away to Peru to become the 3rd team from the South America zone to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The defending World Cup champions Argentina were the first team to book their slot, and they were held to a 1-1 draw by Colombia in the latest matches. Liverpool winger Luis Diaz opened the score before Lyon's Thiago Almada leveled matters for Argentina to leave Colombia 4 points clear of 7th placed Venezuela. Well, and that does it from the sports desk this hour. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bernardo Kumu. Back to Doreen to bring the caps on today's edition of the Bulletin.
Thank you very much, Okumu, for that. Time for me to now exit. But remember, tomorrow is a big day. A 4.2 trillion budget with an 876 billion deficit and an estimated 2.4 trillion revenue collection. Are we living beyond our means? Those are just some of the questions that tomorrow's conversation will be seeking to address in our well-prepared 2025-2026 budget coverage. KBC Channel 1 is the place to be for that from 6 a.m. Nonetheless, that's why we put a cap on this live broadcast. Thank you so much for watching. This has been KBC Prime Edition. I'm Doreen Arange, and Wangeshi has been our sign language interpreter. Good night.
Say the art without art would just be, get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you art and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.